Hello, today we're going to talk about how to estimate quotients with two-digit divisors. First thing we need to do is go over some vocabulary. A divisor is a number that is being divided by, and a dividend is a number that is being divided. So if you think like if I say, just a minute. Okay, so if I say 28 divided by 7, my answer would be 4. So 28 would be my divisor. 7 would be my dividend. And 4 would be my quotient. Now, let's go to the next slide and discuss some compatible numbers. So now, when we're discussing compatible numbers, if you remember, compatible numbers are using numbers that you can use mental math with. And so they're numbers you don't have to write down and try to solve. They're numbers that you usually could do with mental math. So if I have this right here, I know 32 rounds to 30, so that's kind of close. And then I'm looking at 1,759. And I'm looking at the 17, and I know that 3 goes into 18 very easily. And so I would do 1,800, which is close to 3, or which is divisible by 30, and then I would do 30 instead of 32. Next, you'll use your pattern. So I'm doing 18 divided by 3, but then I've got my 2 zeros. So what I would do is I would do 1,800 divided by 30. I'm going to take my 0 off, 1 0 off each number. And so 13 goes into 18 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. I get nothing, and I bring my 0 down. 3 goes into 0 times, so my answer would be 60. Let's see a couple of examples. We're going to start right here with 2983 and 25. When I'm looking at these numbers right here, I can think, well, 25 goes into 3,000 pretty easily. Or I can round 25 up to 30 and 2,983 up to 3,000. So I could do 3,000 divided by 30. Well, I'm going to take my 0 off right here. 3 goes into 3 one time, and then I've got my 2 zeros, and so my answer would be 100. Let's look at number 2. I've got 5,391 divided by 77. Well, 77 is close to 80, and so I've got to look at this 53 and think, well, what's something that 8 goes into evenly? Well, 8 times 4, or 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 7 is 54. Just a minute. Sorry about that. My husband was asking a question. So 8 times 7 would be 56. And so I could do 5,600 or 5,600 divided by 80. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off my 0. And so 8 goes into 56 7 times, and I have 1 extra 0. So my answer would be 70. Or I could do this right here, 5,600 divided by 80. I'm going to cross off that 0. 8 goes into 56 7 times. 56 minus 56 is 0, and I'm going to bring down my 0. 8 goes into 0 times, so my answer would be 70. Now let's look at number 3. I am looking at 12 and 2,403, and I know 12 goes into 24 evenly. So I would do 2,400 divided by 12. So let me write it over here, 2,400 divided by 12. 12 goes into 24 2 times. 2 times 12 is 24, and I get 0. And so I've got my extra zeros that I'm just going to bring up, and my answer right here would be 200. Let's go to a few more examples. Okay, with this one right here, I'm looking at 27, and I'm going to say 40 because it goes in. I know 4 goes into 28. So I'm going to make my 2,700 into 2,800, and my 42 I'm going to turn into 40. So now I'm going to divide it, and 2,800 divided by 40. I'm going to take my 0 off right here. 4 goes into 28 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. I'm going to bring that down. I got a 0, and I bring down my 0. 4 goes into 0 0 times. So my answer here would be 70. Let's look at number 5. I've got 5 right here and 1,347. Well, I could easily round my 54 down to 50. And then I'm looking at my 13, and my 13 I can put up to 15. So 1,500 divided by 50. So now I'm going to do 1,500 divided by 50. Take off this extra 0. 5 goes into 15 3 times. 3 times 5 is 15. I got 0, and bring down my 0. 5 goes into 0 0 times. So my answer would be 30. Let's do number 6. I've got this 91, so I'm going to round it to 90, and I'm going to think, okay, what in the 50s does 9 go into? Well, 9 times 6 is 54. So I'm going to round my 5,564 into 5,400. So 5,400 divided by 90. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cross off my 0 right here so I can do it mental math. 9 goes into 54 6 times. 6 times 9 is 54. I've got 0, and I'm going to bring down my 0. 9 goes into 0 0 times, so my answer would be 60. Now we have a word problem to finish out our lesson with. At Elmer Elementary School, 5th grade students are saving money for a summer trip to Washington, D.C. The money Percy has saved is how many times as great as the money James has saved. So I am looking at the money that Percy has earned, which is 1,256, and I'm looking at the money James has earned, which is 401. Well, how would I do this? Well, I've got 401. I'm going to turn that into 400. And I'm going to do, I know 4 goes into 12 evenly, so 1,200. So now I'm going to do 1,200 divided by 400. Now I'm going to cross off those zeros. So 1 and 2. 4 goes into 12 3 times, and I have nothing left. So Percy has saved 3 times as much money as James has. That's all for today. Good luck on your assignment.